My name is Olivia, and the first thing I ever truly loved was baking. Not eating desserts. Making them. When I was 12, I spent hours watching baking videos, writing recipes in notebooks, and practicing cakes in our tiny kitchen after school. The smell of vanilla, cinnamon, and warm bread made me happy in a way nothing else did. But my parents hated it. In our family, success meant only 3 careers. Doctor, lawyer, engineer. Anything creative was considered failure. Especially by my father. Baking is a hobby, he would say coldly. Not a future. My mother was softer, but she always agreed with him in the end. You're smart enough for something better, she told me constantly. But the more they pushed me away from baking, the more I realized it was the only thing that truly felt like me. At 17, I secretly applied to a prestigious pastry institute in New York. And when the acceptance letter arrived, I cried from happiness. My parents didn't. They exploded. The argument lasted hours. My father shouted so loudly the neighbors probably heard everything. You want to throw your life away making cupcakes? It's not cupcakes. I cried. It's culinary art. My mother looked disappointed more than angry. We sacrificed everything for your education, she said. And this is what you choose. I tried explaining. I showed them the scholarship offer. The internship opportunities. The career possibilities. But they didn't care. To them, my dream was embarrassing. Then finally, my father said the sentence that changed my life forever. If you walk out that door to become a baker, don't come back. Silence filled the room. I waited. I waited for my mother to stop him. She didn't. So at 18 years old, I packed 2 suitcases and left home with $300, a scholarship letter, and a broken heart. New York was harder than I imagined. I worked mornings in a coffee shop and studied late into the night. Sometimes I slept only 4 hours. Sometimes I cried from exhaustion. Other students came from wealthy families with expensive tools and professional training. I came with secondhand knives and fear. But I had one thing stronger than fear. Passion. While others treated pastry school like a temporary step, I treated it like survival. I practiced constantly. Burned cakes. Ruined pastries. Started over again and again. And slowly, I improved. One instructor noticed my work and helped me get an internship at a luxury hotel bakery. That internship became a job. That job became opportunities. And years later, I opened my own pastry shop. Then another. Then another. By 30, my dessert brand appeared in food magazines across the country. People waited hours for reservations. The same dream my parents once called worthless became my entire life. I hadn't spoken to my parents in almost 8 years when my phone rang one rainy evening. The caller ID simply said, "Mom." I stared at it for several seconds before answering. Her voice sounded smaller than I remembered. "Olivia," she whispered. I stayed silent. Then she started crying. "Your father had suffered a stroke 6 months earlier. Medical bills destroyed their savings. Their home was close to foreclosure. And worst of all, my younger brother, the golden child who became a lawyer exactly as they wanted, refused to help financially. He says he has his own life now," she said quietly. The irony almost hurt. After years of worshipping the successful child, they were abandoned by him instead. Then my mother finally said the words I never imagined hearing. "I need your help." A week later, I stood outside my childhood home for the first time in years. The paint was fading. The garden looked neglected. Even the house seemed tired. My mother opened the door slowly. For a moment, we just stared at each other. Then she hugged me and broke down crying. I was wrong, she whispered repeatedly. Seeing her like that hurt more than I expected. Because despite everything, she was still my mother. My father sat quietly in the living room, weaker than I remembered. The man who once terrified me now looked fragile. He struggled to speak clearly after the stroke, but eventually he whispered. You made it. I nodded slowly. Not angry. Not triumphant. Just sad for all the years we lost. Then he looked at me with tears in his eyes and said, I threw away my daughter because I cared too much about what other people thought. That sentence broke something inside me. Not bitterness. Grief. I helped them. I paid their medical debt. I saved the house. And eventually, I even hired my mother to help manage one of my bakery locations after she recovered emotionally. At first, things felt awkward between us. Years of pain don't disappear overnight. But slowly, honesty replaced pride. One afternoon, my mother stood inside my bakery watching customers line up outside and whispered, I used to pray you'd give up this dream. I looked at her quietly. And now? Tears filled her eyes. Now I pray no one ever makes their child feel ashamed for being different. That moment healed something deep inside me. Not completely. But enough. Because success wasn't revenge anymore. It was proof that my passion had value, even when the people closest to me couldn't see it. They threw her out for wanting to bake desserts, then survived because of the dream they once called worthless. The end. Daily emotional stories, shocking family drama, and unforgettable endings. Subscribe now to Heart Touching Tales Hub.